Have you ever wondered what is that energy that propels you to do some task or take an action? Well, it is called motivation. Now, what is motivation? It is the state of mind that inspires you to do some work. But many a times you find yourself going through these highs and lows of energy as if you were having an emotional roller coaster ride. Now, why does this happen? And you would be wondering if you were the only one to experience it. Well, this is the emotion that is experienced by everyone. And the causes of these highs and lows could be many. But the most important thing is how do you always maintain that high so that you can achieve your goal without any delay or difficulty? Is it possible? Well, the good news is it is possible, and you would know about it as we explore the topic a little more. We often find ourselves happily doing the things that gives us joy and satisfaction. But when it comes to doing the things that do not give you any pleasure, then you need to have that additional motivation. So it is the motivation that compels us to make changes in our life, and it is the driving force behind this change. So, what is motivation? Motivation is the force that compels us to make changes in our life, and it is the driving force behind this change. So, in order to develop your motivation, you need to fully understand in and out of it. When you want to achieve a goal, just having a strong desire will not be sufficient. In addition to the desire, you need a level of motivation that enables you to overcome the obstacles that you face on the journey of success. Now, what are the components that enable you to overcome the obstacles? There are three: activation, persistence, and intensity. Now, let us understand it one by one. What is motivation activation? The activation stage of motivation is where you have the desire to accomplish something and you take the action. For example, let's say you want to be a rock star. Your motivation comes from how you see yourself looking and feeling once you are on the stage and giving a live performance. So, the action you might take is you could find a tutor or look out for some videos on YouTube for a few days. Activation is the first step that you take to and that you take to try and achieve your goal. The second is motivation persistence. Now, what is motivation persistence? Persistence is that force that compels you to keep going no matter how challenging or how overwhelming the things become. For example, you are very much excited in becoming a rock star and you buy a guitar and you are all excited and eager to get started and learn. But after those taking those few lessons, you might find it very challenging and you may feel like giving up. However, if you have persistence or if you develop that liking and keep going, then you would achieve your goal of becoming the rock star. But as we all know, that our modern life is full of distractions and we need persistence to ignore that distractions and stay focused on achieving our goals. The third component of motivation is intensity. Intensity simply means the amount of effort that we put when trying to achieve our goal. The time span in which a person can achieve a goal depends on the intensity. Even if two people have same level of motivation and have similar persistence levels, but if their intensity varies, then the results also vary. Let me explain you with an example. There are few people who take small steps or baby steps to achieve their goals. They are called plodders. Then there are other group of people who do everything very fast and try to achieve their goals in the quickest time possible. They are called expeditors. However, always try to be on the middle ground between these two, going faster than the plodder but not as fast as the expeditor. Because the problem with being an expeditor is that it is easy to make mistakes because of lack of concentration on the task And also, you might suffer a burnout very quickly. And if you are a plodder, then there are high chances of losing the motivation and you will eventually give up on your goal. So always try to work on the middle ground. There are two sources of motivation, internal and external. Internal motivation is there when you want to achieve something because it gives you personal pleasure. For example, you do something for your loved ones because that gives you immense pleasure. You do not want any praise or applause because you derive the pleasure from within. However, if you are looking for external rewards like money, recognition, status, or respect from others, then it is called external motivation. Now, let us see the sources of motivation. They are needs, instincts, and arousal. First is needs motivation. When motivation occurs in order to fulfill the basic needs, then it is called needs motivation. These needs create internal pressures and can influence a person's behavior. For example, food, water, shelter, clothing, a sense of security and well being, or good health, or a sense of belonging. These are all human needs, and so they motivate a person to take action. The second is instincts motivation. We get to see it in all animals. All organisms are born with certain biological tendencies that help them to survive. Instincts are patterns of behavior that are not the result of learning or experience, but it is deeply wired and inborn. For example, birds migrating in winter, or a dog shakes itself when it gets wet. These are all the examples of instinct motivation. The third is the arousal motivation. It is the motivation that drives people to perform actions in order to maintain an optimum level of physiological arousal. Well, it differs from people to people. People who require high level of arousals get motivated to do exciting and stimulating acts. However, there are other people who do better with much lower arousal levels. So they go in for some soothing and relaxing activities like watching a movie or knitting. So it differs from person to person and it is based on their arousal levels. They take the desired and necessary actions. So in today's video, we learned what is motivation, components of motivation, and sources of motivation. This is the end of chapter 1 on motivation. Thank you.